All right, and we're gonna get started standing at the top of the mat today. Actually, instead of the top of the mat, let's start in the middle of the mat, maybe facing one side, maybe the left or the right side. And we're gonna start just standing. And any comfortable stance, whatever natural posture that is, arms by the side. Take a gentle gaze in front of you, or maybe even just closing the eyes if that feels good. And let's take a cleansing breath. Big, deep inhale, fill up the lungs. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. Let's do that 2 more times this morning. Big, deep inhale, fill up the lungs. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. We're going to do that 1 more time, holding it at the top. Big, deep inhale. Take 1 more sip in. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. Just starting to notice how the body feels this morning. Maybe starting with any of the sensations, maybe temperatures, textures, anything that might be touching the skin, just noticing how the body feels, what's touching the body. Maybe it's your clothes, maybe your hand is gently resting on the outside of the leg, or maybe you feel the air on your skin, around your neck, your face, your feet. Just noticing what's around the body this morning. And then looking for any kind of tension, maybe just noticing how the body feels today. So scanning from the feet to the crown of the head, noticing for any type of tightness or tension, any places maybe the body's holding on. So for me personally, my glutes like to always be fired up and turned on for whatever reason. So I always have to invite my glutes to soften and relax. Tell my ass to chill out. So if you do find any points of tension or tightness and your body's not willing to release and let go, just honoring that that's okay. And that's just where you are today. And we'll be mindful of that as we work through our practice today. Start to bring the awareness to the breath now. Without changing anything in the breath, noticing your natural inhales and exhales. Noticing how the air enters and then exits the body. Maybe even imagining what that breath would look like if it was like a little mist or cloud that you're inhaling and exhaling. What would that look like? And then we're going to set up our Ujjayi Pranayama today, our victorious breath. So finding a slight constriction in the back of the throat. And then with the mouth closed, start breathing in and out of the nose. And then creating a gentle whisper sound in the back of the throat. So this isn't a real heavy, hoarse breathing. You'll feel a gentle whisper in the back, kind of like an ocean wave, thinking like ocean waves crashing on the beach. And then set up a pattern that you can maintain for the duration of class today. And you're going to use this pattern to guide you in the lengths of your movements, and the lengths of the inhales and the lengths of these exhales will be what guides you through your movements. And now the breath also keeps the mind tethered to the body. It helps us stay present in this moment, connected with the body. It gives the mind something to focus on. So as I'm guiding you through the different asanas and the different poses, just noticing the breath and how the body feels. And this gives the mind a point of focus. I'm going to bring hands to our hips here, and then look down. You can open eyes, look down at the feet, and let's step the feet out wide, maybe a little bit wider, maybe not quite your full length if we were coming into a wide leg forward fold, but we are coming into a wide leg forward fold. So maybe not the full, since we're just getting warmed up here. And then really get grounded, rooted in the feet. So imagine your three corners of the feet anchored into the earth. Find a gentle bend in the knees. And then we're going to take an inhale, grow tall in the spine. And then exhale, hinging forward. Let's keep the spine straight here. And then keep going, folding all the way forward until the spine begins to round. Letting the spine round, and then the head is heavy, dripping down toward the earth. And then let's bring the hands down to the outside of the ankles here. And then if the shoulders are shrugging up to the ears, let's actually keep our shoulder blades sliding down the back. So we're going to keep the shoulders a little bit more active in this forward folding pose. And then tilt the sit bones to the sky. So this is really going to accentuate the sensation that you're experiencing in the back of the legs and the back side of the legs. It should deepen the stretch for you. And I'm going to come to the side and just kind of demonstrate a little bit. And then maybe find these gentle rocks, kind of shifting weight into your heels and then shifting forward into the balls of the feet. And just rocking a little bit forward and back. Again, kind of rediscovering that balance in the foot, in your feet, finding those three corners of the foot, and really anchoring down into the earth. And then maybe trying to stack hips in line with heels. So you're maybe tipping a little bit further forward. Maybe bringing the hands down to the earth for additional balance here, or keeping the hands on the ankles, tilting those sit bones up to the sky. Really release the spine. Does feel good. And then we're going to take a half lift from here. So inhale, sliding the palms up the shins. The spine is going to be long, still tilting the sit bones behind you. And we're coming up halfway. So spine is long and flat. So think flat like a tabletop, like if we were in tabletop pose. And then the head is an extension of the spine. The gaze is down on the earth below you. And then again, find these little rocks forward and back. Finding some balance in the foot so we can find those three corners of the foot to anchor in. And then see if you can shift a little bit further forward. Again, attempting to stack hips in line with heels. And then exhale into a wide leg forward fold once again. And then bringing hands to hips, we're going to slowly roll the spine up, one vertebrae at a time, very slowly. Head comes up last. That should feel really nice. Noticing how the legs feel. Maybe some new fresh blood has been reintroduced into your legs. And then let's walk the feet together again. And then let's take a forward fold from here. So inhale, reach the hands to the sky. Exhale, hinging forward at the hips. Slight bend in the knees, very slowly coming down into your forward fold. Hands can rest on ankles if you'd like, again, if you liked that option, or they can rest down onto the earth. But again, being mindful of that placement of where the shoulder blades are. So sliding those shoulder blades down the back so that the shoulders aren't sliding up and hugging up toward the ears. I call this creating romance between the shoulders and the earlobes. Let there be longing. And then tilting the sit bones up, and then maybe straightening the legs, keeping belly pressed to thighs. Let the spine round here. The head is heavy. Again, see if you can let go. Rocking between heels to the ball of the feet. Finding that balance, that even distribution of weight, anchoring you into the earth from your feet. And then coming into half lift, inhale, draw the palms to shins. Spine is long again, tuck the navel in toward the spine, and then tilt those sit bones to the sky. So it's probably a very slight and gentle movement with the hips, tilting the hips to the sky. But you should feel that fire up right away, pulling on the backside of the legs. So allowing you to get a little bit deeper into the stretch. Sliding the shoulder blades down the back here too. Use your Ujjayi Pranayama to breathe through the sensations. And then exhale, forward fold. And then come to the top of the mat. So you can just turn around, come to the top of the mat, press the hands into the earth, and then walk the feet back. And then sitting back onto the heels, belly folds over thighs, coming into child's pose. Allow the forehead to drip down toward the earth. Arms come down along the sides, maybe cupping and holding on to the heels. If the forehead doesn't reach the earth, you can take the hands and stack the hands to rest the forehead on the hands, or even forearms, or even over fists. And so I'll use this as an opportunity to remind you that your child's pose is available to you at any time during your practice. And I like to refer to this as your wisdom pose, because you're the only one who knows when you need this pose. You're the only one that can guide you to this pose. And we'll use this pose to take pause when we become challenged in our practice, or we've lost our breath, or the mind is really stirred up and crazy. So coming here to pause and look within and reconnect with the breath. And when you're ready, if you've shifted your arms, allow them to come extend back out in front of you on the mat. Press into the palms, lift up off the hips, tuck the toes, and then lift the hips up and back, coming into your first down dog of the day. Pedaling out your feet, bending and straightening the legs. Maybe find some shift with hip shifts, hip wiggles. Just waking up, and whatever your down dog ritual is, it doesn't have to look like mine. Whatever feels good to you. Again, we're just getting some blood moving into our muscles. We are waking up the joints, getting some of the synovial fluids in our joints, moving around. And then find some stillness in your down dog and just check in with your alignment, making sure that hands are about shoulder distance apart, index fingers pointing toward the top of the mat, pressing into all 10 fingers. It's really going to help you find balance in the hands so that you're not creating too much pressure in the wrists. So really pressing into all 10 fingers, all knuckles of the fingers are pressing into the mat. And then lifting out of the shoulders so that there's space in the armpits. So imagine placing a tennis ball to fit into your armpits. You're creating that kind of space, that lift in the armpits, and then wrapping the triceps underneath the arms. Hips are reaching up to the sky. And then we're drawing the navel in toward the spine, belly button in. And then it's easy to flare out the ribs here, but see if you can knit the ribs in. So tucking those ribs back in, creating a very strong, like a tree trunk is what I like to think of in our torso here. And then feet are about hip distance apart, maybe a fist and a half of space between the big toes. You can find a gentle bend or maybe even deep bend in the knees. And then heels are reaching down toward the earth. No bonus points if they touch, but that's the energetic effort that we're trying to create. And by doing that, it helps deepen the sensation and stretch in the back of the legs. Bend the knees, gaze forward. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat, meeting in forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, reach the arms to the sky, upward salute. Exhale, hands come to heart center, mountain pose. Inhale, reach the arms to the sky. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips, coming into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, high plank pose, and then shift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, reach the right heel to the sky. Exhale, step the right foot behind the right hand, and then spin the back foot flat onto the mat. Left toes are pointing toward the top left corner of the mat. So they're kind of at this 45-ish degree angle. And we can adjust that as we stand, when we stand up. But find that those three corners of the feet again, feel anchored into the earth with your feet. It's getting strong in your legs. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. Reach the arms to the sky. Plug the right femur bone into the hip socket. So working in our alignment here. And then plug the left femur bone into the hip socket. So imagine pushing that femur bone into the hip, creating this kind of spiraling energy with our hips, into our hips here. So making both hip points face toward the top of the mat, torso facing toward the top of the mat. Back leg is really strong and active. So we don't really want to bend in that knee. We want to keep that heel resting on the earth and lift that back thigh. So imagine pulling that left thigh all the way behind you. Shoulders are stacked over hips. Arms are reaching to the sky. Bend into that right knee. Draw navel into the spine. And again, this is another pose where it's easy to flare out the ribs. Draw the ribs in. Think strong trunk like a tree. We're going to bring hands to heart center. Take an inhale. And then on your exhale, you're going to open the arms up wide to the side. Palms are facing toward the top of the mat. And it's really stretch the arms out. So feel this powerful centered energy coming from the middle of the chest and working its way all the way out your arms and through the fingertips. Beautiful. And on your next exhale, you're going to slowly straighten that right leg. Keep a slight bend in the right knee. Grow tall in the spine again. And then exhale, we're going to hinge halfway. So we're coming into kind of this pyramid, airplane-ish pose, pyramid pose with airplane arms. Draw the navel into the spine here. Keep that back leg strong and active, lifting that left thigh to the sky. Use the strength of your breath here to keep you lifted. And then exhale, round the spine, allow the belly to fold in toward the thigh. Head comes down toward the leg. Let the arms go. Hands can come down to frame the foot, or maybe they hold on to your calf or any other part of the body to help you feel supported here. Again, checking in with the shoulders, sliding those shoulders down, the shoulder blades down the back. And then just keeping a bend in the knee that feels good in the body. And then checking in with the hip. So I know for me, I know many of you have heard me say this before, I have sassy hips. So I'll take my right thumb and plug it into my right hip crease. And then I guide my hip back in towards center. And that helps me make sure that I'm getting the most out of the sensation and the most out of this pose. Helps me get into the back of the right leg. On your next inhale, bend into the right knee, plant the hands onto the earth, framing the right foot, and then step the right foot back to meet the left. And then exhale, meeting in downward facing dog. Inhale, reach the left heel to the sky. Exhale, step the left foot behind the left hand. Spin the right foot flat. Right toes pointing toward the top right corner of the mat. Get grounded, really find those 3 points, those corners of the foot, getting anchored into the earth. Strong legs. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. Plugging those femur bones into the hips. Spiral the torso forward. Hip points are in line with the top of the mat. Arms reaching to the sky, drawing that belly into the spine, knitting those ribs in. Strong core, strong, powerful trunk. Maybe sink a little deeper into that left knee. And then bring hands to heart center. And on your next exhale, opening the arms up to the side. Palms facing toward the top of the mat. Really feel the power coming from the center of the heart all the way down your arms and out your fingertips. Beautiful. On your next exhale, straighten that left leg. Keep a slight bend in the left knee. Grow tall in your spine. And then on your exhale, hinging forward halfway. Draw the navel into the spine. Spine is long and the head is an extension of the spine. Really keep those arms strong, straight, and lifted, active. I know the backs of those shoulders are firing up, aren't they? It's good. Send the breath there. Use your breath to keep you strong and lifted here. And on your next exhale, allow the belly to fold in toward the thigh, rounding the spine. Forehead drips down toward the leg. And then option for the hands, they can rest on the earth, or maybe they rest somewhere on your calf or somewhere on your leg. Sliding those shoulder blades down the back. And then just checking in, noticing if you have sassy hips, taking that left thumb, plugging it into the left hip crease, and drawing that left hip back in toward midline. Breathe. Bend into that left knee. Frame the foot with the take both hands around the left foot, framing the left foot. Step the left foot back to meet the right, high plank pose. And I'm gonna break down 2 vinyasa options for you. So you can always take these with the knees down. But first option, we're gonna inhale, shift forward, and then exhale, lowering all the way onto the belly for cobra pose. Sliding the hands down to the low ribs, press the tops of the feet into the mat. And then inhale, pull the heart forward. So the lift is coming from the upper part of the back. Low back is strong and active here. Cobra pose. And then exhale, let that go. And then the second option from plank for your vinyasa, inhale, shift forward, lowering halfway for chaturanga. Release the tops of the feet to the earth, and then exhale, pull the heart forward for upward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Let's take a cleansing breath together. Big, deep inhale, fill up the lungs. Exhale, let that go. Inhale, reach the right heel to the sky. Exhale, step the right foot between the hands. Stay high on the ball of the back foot. Again, finding the, getting grounded in both feet. And then strong legs push you right up. Inhale, crescent pose. Make sure that both hip points are facing toward the top of the mat. Let's bring hands to heart center. Inhale. And then exhale, open the hands out, arms out to the side like a T, palms facing toward the top of the mat. Breathe here. Maybe sink a little deeper into that front knee. Really lift that left thigh to the sky, straight, strong, and active. Really powerful. And breathe. And we're going to keep the arms just as they are. And we're going to spin onto the knife edge of the left foot, opening all the way up into warrior 2. So palms are still facing, well, now they're going to be facing to the left side of the mat, but the palms are open. So again, we're really trying to stretch, pulling the arms from the chest. Reach that heart forward. And then just checking in with the knee here. Your front knee should be about midline in center with midline of the foot. Breathe. Maybe sink a little deeper into that right knee. Maybe even more. Keeping shoulders stacked over hips here. Beautiful. And we're going to start to turn the left toe. So keep the right leg and the arms just as they are, and then turn the left toes toward the back of the mat, coming into this goddess pose. Maybe sinking into the hips a little bit more. Tuck the tailbone down toward the earth. Maybe sink a little bit deeper. I know the shoulders are on fire. Your quads are probably on fire. Draw the navel into the spine. Send the breath to the parts of the body that are burning up. You got this. Let's bring hands to heart center. And then on your next exhale, very slowly rise up. Turn the toes toward the left side of the mat. Keep a slight bend in the knees. Hands come to hips, hinging forward, coming into your wide-legged forward fold. If you would like to take this a little bit deeper, so walking the feet out a little bit wider, and then option again to take the hands to the ankles, or maybe walking one hand over toward one foot. And if you're taking that option, I'll cue you when we're halfway so you can do the other side. Again, tilting the sit bones to the sky. So deepening this sensation in the back of the legs. We want to get the most out of this pose. Sending the breath in. Sending the breath to the back of the legs. So maybe imagining The breath coming in from the back of the throat, down the spine, and then splitting at the hips, traveling down the back of the thighs, the knees, the calves, and out of the heels into the earth. If you took a side, you can walk the hands over to the other side. Breathing. Knees forward fold. There are opportunities for introspection and self-reflection. So looking at what's come up for you in your practice this morning. How's the body feeling? What messages are you receiving from the body today? And then coming back to center, if you took a side option, maybe walking the feet in a little bit closer if you took the wider variation. And then we're going to walk the hands to the top of the mat. Step the right foot back to meet the left, high plank pose, and then option to take your vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, reach the left heel to the sky. Exhale, step the left foot between the hands. Stay high on the ball of the back foot. Really get grounded here. And then inhale, rise up, high crescent pose. I'm going to face this way for you guys. Keep that back leg really strong and lifted. The thigh is reaching to the sky. It's stretching, it's reaching so desperately for some sunshine. Like this is the story of my life right now. Give me the sunshine. Let's bring hands to heart center. And then exhale, open the arms out to the side, palms facing toward the top of the mat. Breathe here. Really stretch the arms. See if you can feel that on the inside of your bicep, reaching all the way down into the pinky. And then on your exhale, you're going to spin onto that back foot, opening all the way up into warrior two. Torso's facing toward the right side of the mat now. Sinking into that left knee, shoulders stacked over hips, arms are still reaching out wide. Breathe. Maybe sink a little deeper into that left knee, making sure that that left knee is tractioning midline with that foot. And then keeping the arms and the left knee and leg just as they are, start to turn the toes of the right foot out toward the front, toward the back of the mat. And then sinking into those hips, coming into our goddess pose. Tailbone is reaching down toward the earth. Shoulders stacked over hips. Really stretch those arms out wide. Maybe sink a little deeper into those hips. Breathe. Use the breath to steady the mind, to steady the heart, to steady the body. Bring hands to heart center. And then on your exhale, very slowly rise up. Turn the toes toward the right side of the mat. And then hinging forward, coming into your wide-legged forward fold. And then freedom to take any variation of this pose that you like. If you like holding on to ankles, if you wanted to take a deeper legs out wider to get a little bit more into the inside of the thighs and the groin. We haven't done a whole lot in the shoulders and upper body today, but if you have headstand in your practice, this would be a good time to practice This nice inversion. I'm not going to break this down for you, but you could also take that pose too. We'll see a few more rounds of breath. We're about halfway if you've taken a side, switch sides. Start to come back to center. Bring hands to hips. And then turning, walking the hands to frame the left foot. Step the left foot back to meet the right. High plank pose. And then option to take your vinyasa or meet in downward facing dog. When we get to down dog, let's take a cleansing breath together. Big, deep inhale, fill up the lungs. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. Beautiful. Bend the knees, gaze forward. Exhale, walk, stump, or maybe jump to the top of the mat, meeting in a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sink the hips back, chair pose, arms to the sky. Bring hands to heart center. Just checking in with our alignment, making sure that the knees are not coming out beyond the toes. So bringing those knees in behind the feet, behind the toes, sinking into those hips. Navel is drawn into the spine. So this is a really important pose to connect with our core, with our power center here. Spine is tall. You're reaching energetically out through the crown of the head. And then exhale, open the arms out to the side like a T, palms facing toward the front of your mat. Maybe sink a little deeper. Use that breath to keep you steady. Connect with that rhythm of your Ujjayi Pranayama. Bring hands to heart center. And then very slowly start to rise up, coming into your mountain pose. Take an inhale. And then exhale, we're going to step the left foot all the way back, coming into warrior two with the right leg in front. And then option, if you want to keep your hands at heart center, we're going to do a little flow here, or you can take the arms out to the side again with the palms facing toward the left side of the mat here. So if you want to take hands to heart center for this initial, we're going to come into Skandasana. We're not going to lower all the way. We're lowering halfway. Again, trying to be mindful of this left knee, making sure that it's not coming out over the toes. Trying to keep the left knee in line with behind the toes. So dipping into our hips, straightening that right leg, keeping a slight bend in the knee. And then coming back up, warrior two. And so maybe playing with that arm variation. Flowing in and out. Exhales, bringing you up. Inhale, bringing you lower. Next time you get to your warrior two, pause. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Our right arm comes up and overhead. Sink a little deeper into that right knee. Left hand can drip down the left thigh. Really pull the heart to the sky. Exhale, right forearm to right knee. Reach the left arm up and overhead for extended side angle. Really feel that beautiful line of energy from the outside of the left foot, traveling all the way up the outside of the left leg, left hip, left side body, into the shoulder, the arm, and out through the left fingertips. Breathe. Maybe sink a little deeper into that right knee. Inhale, rise up, warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel the hands, frame the right foot, step the right foot back to meet the left, high plank pose, and then option to take your vinyasa or meet in downward facing dog. Bend the knees, gaze forward. Exhale, walk, step, or jump to the top of the mat, meeting in a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sink the hips back, chair pose, arms to the sky. Bring hands to heart center. Check in with your alignment. And then exhale, open the hands to the side. Palms facing toward the top of the mat. Maybe sink a little deeper into those hips. Maybe sink a little more. Really stay strong and powerful here, reaching those arms out. I'm gonna come to the back real quick just so I can demo this other side. And then exhale, start to rise up, bring hands to heart center, mountain pose. And then stepping back with the right foot, coming into warrior two with the left foot in front. Arms come out to the side like a T, facing the palms to the right side of the mat. Sink into that left knee, checking in, making sure that knee is in midline with that left foot. And then taking that flow. So again, option to keep the arms out to the side here. Sinking into the right knee, right hip, Skandasana. Exhale, coming back, warrior two. We'll flow like this for a few rounds of breath. Letting the length of your breath guide you in and out of this movement. See if you can keep shoulders stacked over hips the whole time so that we're not leaning too far one way or the other. We're trying to keep shoulders stacked over hips as best we can. Next time you come back to your warrior two, pause. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Left arm comes up and overhead. Right hand drips down the back of the right leg. Really lift the heart to the sky. Sink back into that left knee. Breathe. On your next exhale, bring left forearm to left thigh. Right arm comes up and overhead. And then feel that nice long line of energy from the outside of the right foot, traveling all the way up the right leg, that hip, the right torso, through the armpit, the shoulder, out the arm, and through those fingertips. Really opening the torso to the right side of the mat. Inhale, come back up, warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel the hands to frame the left foot. Step the left foot back to meet the right. High plank pose. Option to take one last vinyasa. Maybe you want to push out a couple extra chaturanga push-ups. This is the end of your part of the practice, your young part of the practice. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Release the knees to the earth. Allow the belly to fold over the thighs. Heels come to the hips come to heels. Forehead drips down toward the earth. Coming into child's pose. Maybe bring the arms down along your side, providing some relief on those hardworking shoulders. Cupping the feet, the heels, just letting the arms be heavy. Find that breath pattern. If you've lost it, just need to hold on to it for a few more moments as we start to come into this more passive part of our practice. Your next inhale, rise up, coming into a seat, be kicking over onto your hip and then swinging the legs out in front of you. And we're going to take half butterfly pose today. So taking that right foot and bringing it onto the inside of that left leg. So drawing it in as close to the groin as feels comfortable in your knee and in your body. And we want to maintain evenness in the sit bones. So if bringing this in too far, bringing the heel in too far makes you kick over to one side or the other, just allow it to come out a little bit further. And then find evenness in those sit bones, grow tall in the spine, flex the left foot, toes are coming in toward the nose. Inhale, reach the arms to the sky. And then with a straight spine, we're gonna hinge forward and pause at our first line of resistance. So that might be a tugging in the back of the right hip, maybe even behind the left leg. Keeping the spine long, let the hands come down toward the earth. Breathing here for a couple rounds of breath. The backs of the legs should be really nice and open. We did a lot of forward folding, really good wide leg forward folds today. And then if you're ready to go a little bit deeper, or if you're happy where you are, stay exactly as you are. If you'd like to go a little deeper, maybe walking the hands forward. And then I'll give you the option if you want to keep the spine long, or if you would like to round the spine and allow the forehead to fold in toward the leg. Again, no bonus points for the head touching anything, the knee, the shin, no bonus points. But keep that left foot flexed and the toes pointing in. And then if that left quadricep is trying to stay active, see if you can soften it and let it go. It doesn't need to get involved. And breathe. And so just as a reminder, all of our bodies are made differently. We all have different skeletal variations of our body based on genetic coding that we have absolutely no control over, which means that the shapes that we each make with our body are going to look different. So the way in which you fold is going to look different in the way in which I fold. And so I invite you to release any ideas of what this should look like, but rather what it should feel like. And that's going to be unique to you. On your next exhale, use the hands to walk the torso back up. Allow the right foot to come down to meet the left. Maybe wiggling out the knees a little bit, wiggling out the legs, and then switching sides. Bringing the left foot onto the inside of the right leg, flexing that right foot. Toes come in toward the nose. And then again, just finding an evenness in the sit bones here. Grow tall in the spine. Inhale, reach the arms to the sky. Slightly turn the torso toward the right leg. And then exhale with a tall, long spine, hinging forward, pausing at your first line of resistance. Allow the hands to come down to the earth to support you. Keep that spine long. See if you can remind that left quadricep, the top of the top of the right thigh, the right quadricep to relax. It doesn't need to get involved. It likes to, but it doesn't need to. And then exhale, if you'd like to go a little bit deeper, either keeping that spine long or rounding the spine and allowing the forehead to drip down toward the leg. Keep that right foot flexed, toes coming in, relaxing the top of the thigh. Breathing. And walking the hands back on your next exhale, assisting the torso up. Allow the left leg to come down to meet the right, shaking out both legs. And then we're gonna roll all the way on to our back. I'm gonna check our time. Excellent. Draw the knees in toward the chest. Allow the arms to come down to the side like a T. And then exhale, allow the legs to fall over to the left. Getting into the right side, twist. Keeping that right shoulder anchored into the earth. And so that might mean adjusting the placement of the knees to make sure that you stay grounded there. So both shoulders grounded and firmly rooted into the earth. As we come toward the end of our practice, I invite you to start bringing in a little bit of gratitude for your body, for the ways in which it moved for you today, the ways in which it moves for you every day. On your next inhale, draw the knees back into center, knees into the chest, and then exhale, allow everything to fall over to the right. Again, making any adjustments so that you can keep that left shoulder on the earth. This really helps us get into that low back, the ribs here, those intercostals and the ribs, the low back and the hip. Stay connected with the breath for just a few moments longer. Our bodies are really amazing things. They are the vehicle to this journey that we're on, this journey of life, letting us experience all of the things. And celebrating today the way in which you nourished and cared for your body in this time together. Maybe finding a little gratitude for that. Inhale, draw the knees back into center. Let's take one last little squeeze before I release you into your final resting pose. Knees into chest, hands wrap around shins. Draw the forehead in toward the knees. Take an inhale, fill up the lungs, hold it at the top. Sip in one more breath. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. Let the legs come down the length of the mat. Maybe allowing the feet to come out almost the width or even wider, allowing the feet to splay out to the side. Arms come down to the side, backs of the hands resting on the earth, palms to the sky. And then nestling the shoulder blades underneath the back, tucking the chin in gently toward the chest. Close the eyes. and lay in this bliss with your body and enjoy the work that you just put into your practice. Shavasana. If you've drifted off, you can start to bring some awareness back to your body and this present moment. Maybe wiggling fingers and toes, spending some gentle movements, maybe inviting in deeper breaths. And you are welcome to stay just as you are. If you would like to finish class with me in a seat, finding a way to sitting on your mat. Maybe bringing hands to heart center in Anjali Mudra. It is an honor to sit in this seat as teacher
And I continue on this journey, on my own journey as a student, having an opportunity to learn from you. So I thank you for giving me this opportunity to share what I know and to learn from your experience and from you on your journey. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste. Mwah.